This is Goddess Talk with Balaji
and Tasha.
And we have
a
special guest today, Miss Bianca Goolsby.
Hello, everyone. It's a blessing to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
No worries. Just make sure you stay close to the mic. But we got a lot of things to talk about today. We have another special guest who will probably be calling in soon. She's calling in from the UK, from London town, Miss Fumi Dominic. I've known Fumi for a long time, but she has been spearheading a lot of natural hair stuff going on in the UK, because the UK is still really back, and they're like what we so circa 2012 or so here in America is where the UK's natural hair community is really at right now.
Oh, really?
So so she's been posting about natural hair. She really went through the whole process looking for products that work for her, and doing YouTube videos and showing to some people, going to different events. So I hit her up, say, hey, do you want to talk about it? And give people insight, because a lot of people, we're still very separated, UK from America.
Right.
So just giving her a platform so that we could all see that, hey, you know what, they struggling over there, maybe we could help a little bit.
Right.
But love Fumi, she's gonna be on later on when she gets a call, when she calls in. Because it's like 5 hours difference.
Oh,
so it's midnight over there.
Oh, wow.
So if she hasn't fallen asleep, we gonna get her on. All right. But in the meantime, it's Bianca's time. So Bianca, tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, man, I don't know where to start, because I don't really talk about myself like that. I'm a very low-key person. I like to just stay to myself. But I'm a web developer by nature. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm all about securing the bag and, advocating for, black people particularly, and students, because when I was growing up, I wish that I had an advocate to advocate for some of the issues that I was dealing with growing up, and so I went into the school system just because I moved here to Tampa. I'm not from Tampa. I'm actually originally from Atlanta. And I A-Town. So I moved here to literally be here in the space where me and my wife were kind of joining union and getting serious. So I moved down here, and I was like, I want to do something. I want to impact kids. I want to get into the field of teaching. So I did that, and ever since I did,
there she go.
There we go.
All right, this is Goddess Talk. Who is on the line?
Fumi.
Hey, Fumi. How you doing?
Hi, Queen.
I'm good. Okay, Fumi, welcome to Goddess Talk. How's everything going on over there in the UK?
Yeah, it's going good so far. It's actually 12 a.m. here, so yeah,
oh,
a bit
wow.
late.
Yeah, it's been late. But we're going to get right into it, because we want to give you an opportunity to talk about who you are, what you do, but then also let you go back to sleep, because it is late over there.
Yeah,
So, Fumi, just give us a little background about who you are and how you got into the whole natural hair conversation, really, okay?
Yeah, cool. So, I'm Fumi Dominic. I'm based in London, and my name on Instagram and my YouTube name is Natural Fun Size. And basically, rewind back to 2015, once I graduated from college, I thought, do you know what? Let me just start this natural hair journey. Thanks to my boyfriend and my sister inspired me to do so. So, did that. And then I just realised, with the whole relaxing thing, doing some research behind it, realising that it's obviously related to cancerous cells and, just health-wise is not good.
Yes.
And also the whole, the epidemic of the whole weave situation, people losing their edges and whatnot. I just thought, you know what, let's just go back to how it was a few years back when everyone was just natural, back in, the back time, the ancient times. So I thought, let me just go back to doing natural, and I haven't looked back ever since. And from the back of that, that's when I started Black Hair Goals UK, just to really, just to let us black queens embrace our natural selves, which is really important. I mean, it's okay to wear wigs and do these protective styles, but it's also good to actually love what's underneath, what grows from your roots out. So that's really what that's what my passion is, and that's what I really love. So
Okay.
just thought,
Okay.
let me just spread the love to everyone.
All right, so
Great.
with the UK, what has been the reception of the whole natural hair community? Because I know it's still, you guys are still a few years back from us when it comes to the products, and you can't get a couple products over there as easily as we might get it from like a Sally's over here.
Right.
So what have you discovered has been an issue for you, maybe even in the workplace, when it comes to your natural hair?
That's
What's
something
been
good.
an issue?
Balaj, didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, girl, with the workplace. Oh gosh.
How has it been? How has it been?
Like, it's so hard. So like a few months back, I was working in a different workplace. They were all white, and they all weren't really from London, because London's such a multicultural city. Balaji, you've been there anyway. You've seen that. Like,
I've seen it.
Yeah,
I love London.
if you ask a black person where they're from, they're not going to say they're British. They're going to say I'm from Ghana or from Nigeria or wherever. So like I would go into work one week and my hair would be natural. The next week my hair would just be in braids, and I'd be like, oh my god, Fumi, how did you do that? How did it attach to your hair? Asking me silly questions, and you're just like, really? And yeah, it's just I'm going to say it's really hard for us black girls to be in a professional environment to have to be questioned about our hair. It's just really frustrating.
Yes.
But I would say it's also ignorance as well, because some white people they're not really exposed to us and what we do and stuff. So it's annoying, but it's also good to educate them.
Yes.
So the next person that they do see that does have our hair or does change their hair, then they'll understand, and that kind of prevents them from making them feel some type of way, if you get what I mean.
Okay.
Okay.
So so that's that in terms of the work environment. I mean, from what I've heard, like there's some companies that have been trying to really advocate the whole natural thing, and not really asking people questions based on that, and HR getting involved and setting up all these sort of, I wouldn't say workshops, but just kind of like
Educating
motivational
people.
speaks.
Okay.
Yeah, just educating people in a sense. But in terms of products, getting it in the UK, it's actually been a lot easier, I would say.
Okay.
Just because there's some black-owned companies now that are starting
To come out
these
there.
subscription boxes and things like that, and just making their own products. And with the whole, so I think around May, I went to the Afro Natural Hair Convention. That was really good. It's like a 2-day event. And it was just really good to like see people who are actually embracing the whole natural movement and just embracing black beauty, which is really important. So I think I would say it's a lot easier to get products and to educate yourself. Thank God for YouTube and all these bloggers that are educating other people. So it's been good.
All right, cool.
Okay.
So, you guys make sure you follow natural_funsize on Instagram, Facebook. Well, just Instagram for the most part. And then you can find her on YouTube, because she goes through a lot of different ways to style your hair. She's done a lot of, I remember one video I watched, I guess you were using, you made your own kind of paste to help with your hair. So she's done a couple different things. She's trialed and errored a couple different products.
Oh, okay.
So she's shown a lot of people over there, what they can use and how it probably could work with their own hairstyle. Because my hair, I just locked up about 2 years ago, and trust me, it was a process.
Right.
And so make sure you're following at Black Hair Goals UK. So this is a platform that educates, uplifts, and promotes black sisters, brothers to embrace their natural beauty.
Okay.
So thank you
Great.
so much for tuning in, Fumi,
Thank
and giving us a
you.
little bit of your time at 12 o'clock over there in the UK.
Get some rest.
But make
Thanks
sure
for having me,
you guys follow. We'll probably have you back on if there's any topic that you would like to talk about that's going on over there that you would like our brothers and sisters over here to know about.
Okay.
Because there is a
That'll be
disparity. There's a disparity between, us over here and there, because
Right.
some things go down over here, and my cousin was like, are you guys okay? I was like, yeah, I'm not over there. And so also the same, because there's still a lot of racism going on over there in the UK.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I hear about that a lot.
You guys may not deal with a lot of guns, but you deal with a lot of knifing incidents over there, correct?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
been really.
it's dangerous on either side, but there's been a lot of people who are advocating, and Fumi is definitely all about pro-blackness from what I've seen, and we've talked about so many different things. So I would definitely like to have her, if she decide to come over on this side of the pond.
Come on
I'll
over,
have her
girl.
on. Her sister gonna be here next. Her sister gets here on Friday, so
Oh,
she gonna
okay.
be
Yeah,
chilling.
Friday. She's
Yeah, her and her nephew. So,
Okay,
all right.
awesome.
But thanks so much, Pumi. I appreciate you. We'll link up some more, and I hope that you'll decide to travel down here and come on Goddess Talk soon. Okay.
Oh yeah, soon as pending. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
No problem.
You're welcome. Thank you, Queen.
All right, bye.
Thanks, Queen.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye.
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 Ciao.
I love her accent.
Yeah. Oh God. I could just just talk to me. But that was Pumi Dominic of Black Hair Goals UK, also known as Natural Fun Size _Fun Size on Instagram and YouTube. So definitely check her out. But we're gonna switch gears again, back to some more serious stuff. So back to Bianca. So give us a little bit more about your bio. From what you were saying, you do more tech. You were more into a technology based education for children, but then you started advocating. You moved into that gear.
Yeah, so I was teaching business technology, and so I know how to code, and my whole ambition and goal was to teach students how to code. And that was kind of their way of learning how to make money online.
Yeah.
Well, my experience just was not positive at all. When I would ask questions about like, why are kids being treated this way, or why hasn't this incident been reported this way, I got a lot of like, you shouldn't be talking.
Oh wow.
Be
That's
quiet.
just the way it is.
Don't put things in writing. And I was trying to figure out like, well, why not you put it in writing? I don't understand why you don't put it in writing.
Paper trail.
Just
Right.
to document.
Paper trail.
I was taught to document. So for me to be told not to document and then bullied and retaliated against because I'm following procedure, I just couldn't. So I left.
That is heartbreaking on a standpoint as you were being an educator and a concerned educator for children. How did that make you feel?
So emotionally, I was torn because, I would witness kids being bullied. And bullying is a really big topic that I like to talk about a lot because as a child, I was bullied. And so I was bullied because, the way that I talked, kids called me an Oreo. Or because, I'm plus size, they called me fat. It was always something that someone called me, right? So I could never be myself. And then I was battling sexuality on top of that. So it's just compounded trauma, Our students are experiencing the same thing, if not worse. The thing is it's worse because they have social media. Social media is one of those tools that is 24/7 and never stops. Where when I was bullied growing up, it was, you saw the kids at school, they talked about you, you go home, and that's it. Now these kids are experiencing that 24/7 all day, every day.
Right.
And I just felt like, bullying is not being addressed appropriately. Hillsborough County Public Schools only reported 355 incidents of bullying to the Florida Department of Education. And I question that because I'm just feeling like, with all the school shootings that's happening. I mean, if you guys check the news today, we had 3 incidents that involved guns with a potential school shooting. There was one school in St. Pete, was actually a church that actually got a bullet that was placed through the glass window, Allendale Church. And there was a bullet that actually went through the school.
Oh, wow.
And that was today. The other incident that happened today was at Burns. There was a girl that actually posted on Snapchat and said that she was going to shoot up the school. The next incident after that was in Pinellas County, and that was at Gibbs High School.
Right.
And that was just today in Tampa Bay. And so
we a week into the school.
Right.
I mean,
We're
this is like the 3rd week in school.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I mean, like,
So, hold on a second, because we're going to table that part, because we're getting a whole bunch of Amber Alerts right now too.
Oh,
so
goodness.
if we are cutting out, but what we want to do, we're about to take a commercial break. If you guys want to call in to discuss some things with Bianca, 813-444-9588. This is Goddess Talk. This is Balaji and Tasha and Bianca. So we'll be right back.
in a car crash? Call Ricky. Don't know what to do? Ask Ricky. We will connect you with a lawyer and doctor experienced in auto accident injuries. Call Ricky at 844-361-7425. After an auto accident, you have 14 days to seek medical attention. You may be in pain, so call Ricky, ask Ricky for your best options. 844-361-7425. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal and medical referral service. The lawyers in our network pay to receive referrals.
Hi, I'm Donald L. Dowridge Jr., your motivational guru. This is the DLD Motivational Moment. You got up this morning. Eyes sneaking open as the feet hit the floor. Got to thank God for the rise this day. The stove perking the smell of nutrition. Get to your destination with planned unselfish acts. Bulletin board read, do you have any to spare? Happiness and understanding. We all have experienced that one phone call, family member, co-worker, friend has passed on. We don't know our last evening or morning. Get up. Help someone out. Now walk it out. You got up this morning. This has been the DLD Motivational Moment. You can reach out to DLD at DLD282002@yahoo.com or 813-394-5875.
Smoothing out your favorite R&B flavors.
What's your flavor? Tell me what's your flavor.
In Touch Radio.
Hey. Welcome back to Goddess Talk with Balaji
and Tasha.
And our special guest today is Miss Bianca Goolsby. What's going on, Bianca?
What's going on? Thank you for having me again. I appreciate this.
No problem. Thanks for coming and spending time with us. So before we went on commercial break, because we just started getting into some things, and then we all got a whole Amber Alert, and we were talking about there's been 3 school shootings three incidences today in Florida. Mm-hmm. And you just go from there, because that's just crazy.
All right, so I just want to clarify, just because I don't want any misconceptions. There wasn't any actual shootings except for in Allendale, where there was a gun that was a bullet that was actually shot through the window at in one of the preschool areas. And so that happened at 4:18 today, and they're still checking that out and checking the scene on that. The other 2 schools was Gibbs High School, that's in Pinellas County, and Burns Middle School, and that's in Hillsborough County. And both of those students were arrested due to claims that they were going to shoot up the school.
So they were making threats online.
They were making threats online that they were going to shoot up the school.
Everything else.
Yep.
And the police, so you mentioned that the fact that the parents didn't even realize what was going on until they saw it on the news.
There was a lot of cases where like for Gibbs High School in particular, because I'm in a part of some of these groups that circulate on Facebook for like parent advocacy, and there were some parents that were saying that they were not even notified that this was happening, that they actually found out on the news, and that other people was texting them and their child was texting them. And I just feel like as a district, you have a duty to immediately contact parents and let parents know what's happening at the school.
Even when we had bomb threats back in the day, like what? The thing is frozen. Even then, when we had bomb threats, like it was crazy. Everybody evacuation.
We got out of there.
Either told the parents, but now you had mentioned something. I was just talking because I've seen some posts that you made online, but you were saying that when kids are in school, they should have the data off and parents turn off the data.
Absolutely.
So now think about this: if my child was in school and they had to get in contact with me and the data was off, how would I know?
Well, if you text someone, you using the cellular service and not the data.
So, but this is the issue. Some schools do have bad reception. Because that is a thing.
I've noticed that with some of the high schools, definitely.
And then not just that, like I have iPhone, but I think I told you, like I can't get certain text messages from Android coming into my house at all.
Yeah.
And if my child, sometimes iPhone goes right through, but Android, it might be a situation. But it's like now, because of these 3 incidences and just other incidences that continue to happen, my child is being bullied or whatever. I'm sorry, I'm not turning off that phone or TV for nothing.
And I can completely understand, especially now in this climate. Now, the whole intention about turning the data off is that there are studies that show that children are distracted when they're in the learning environment.
Absolutely.
And so kids are more prone to check their phones instead of being more intentional with their learning.
Yeah.
And so the problem with that is that with these cell phones, they have they're doing damage to children.
Yeah.
To the point where, you know, children are unable to write complete sentences. They're unable to communicate properly, and that's because they've been doing what they've been doing on this phone, and they've been learning things from this phone.
Okay.
And so because of that, there has to be a middle ground that is between, okay, having contact the parents on what's going on. Because I feel like if the school did what they were supposed to do, there would have been no need for, you know, your child to text you about what happened when the school is proactively letting you know what happened, you know?
Right.
So I feel like at some point, you know, we got to come up with a solution. At some point, we have to figure out the cell phone, what we're going to do with the cell phones, and how we're going to deal with cell phones in class. And there are
Okay.
some
They shouldn't
parents...
be in class at all.
I agree.
because-
the way
but
it goes now,
The way this is the thing, because I grew up before there were cell phones.
Better safe than
in the
sorry,
school. Yes,
though.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Not even going to argue that, because that's where I'm torn. Because I just
Right.
mentioned that, hey, no, I'm not turning off the data. My child needs to have their phone so I can know. But then at the same
Right.
time, when we talk about learning, because I was a substitute teacher for about a year
Okay.
at one point, and I did that. We're talking about 2013, 14, right?
Okay.
And I was dealing with kindergartners,
Oh.
and already, like, they kind of had devices on them, okay?
Oh, really?
And so, but then I also substituted at other age levels, and you would see that they were basically teaching kids acronyms versus actual words. Acronyms like LOL instead of just saying laughing out loud.
Oh.
Like, they're teaching this in the schools, okay? So
That's
I
not
believe
good.
that there should be none of that, because text language is not what you should
it's
be learning.
not what
That's not
kindergartner or
real.
anybody
That's not-
should be learning.
Exactly.
That's not real
Yeah.
language.
So I've seen that situation. So I totally agree with you that, number one, they probably shouldn't be in the schools. But then for safety reasons, I'm scared.
Right.
What are
and
your
that's a
opinion of
big
that?
thing, because as you can see, our schools are definitely not safe.
They're not equipped.
Not, you know, and they're not equipped. So to me, the teachers used to say, okay, my youngest son had a cell phone, but it was always because he went to Gibbs, and so it was always an issue there. With guns, you know, students bringing guns on campus, or, you know, fights and so forth. So for safety reasons, I personally want the children to have cell phones. I don't want them to be on the phones taking pictures and, you know, selfies and all of that, but I do want them to have phones, definitely, because as you can see, like Bianca was saying, you know, a parent shouldn't have to be texting another parent.
Absolutely.
It's the district's duty to notify parents when something goes wrong.
Absolutely. And there's sometimes where kids actually communicate with parents, and they actually like misinform parents of what's going on because they actually don't know what's going
Yeah,
on. So we
they heard
also
from this person, that
are you know, and it's just the district has a duty to provide clear communication on what's happening at the school site. Period.
Okay.
And then there would be no misinformation.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I can see that.
Okay.
Definitely. And that's a good point. And so, Bianca, I just want to ask you a question. So I know you were in the classroom, and I used to see your posts and everything, and you were definitely an advocate for the children. What was the breaking point? Where did it go left?
Where it went left was constantly being in fire. Let me explain. Every day there was an incident that broke out at the school.
Okay.
Every
What school
day.
were you at? Do you
I was
know?
at Jennings Middle School,
Where's that?
and that's in Seffner. So basically,
Okay.
with desegregation, they decided to create all of these different schools and bus kids everywhere. So
Okay,
they are
yep.
busing kids from East Tampa to Seffner, which is alienating them from their community. And then, you know, administration will then, you know, blame parents for not being, you know, present, but you alienated, you know, them from the community. So
Distance.
what the problem was that I kept trying to make the school better, and I felt people in positions, leadership, that did not want to make it better. They was complicit in what it was, to the point where, and I've said this several times, and I don't say this to like make this like glorified, because this is traumatic for me,
Right.
but there was students that was pushed out the window. There was a child that I witnessed that actually cut themselves. There was children that literally just fought. I have all these videos on Instagram that kids are fighting each other. They are upset. They are dealing with trauma that's not being addressed. They, you know, can't go see a guidance counselor because a guidance counselor is pulling kids out of class for testing or fighting or something. And students are not getting equity in education. I had a 15-year-old in the 6th grade, and for the life of me, no one could explain to me why this baby was in 6th grade. bullied, and the baby was bullied so much that baby became a bully and became being a problem. And then you know what? They were trying to get that kid out of school, but y'all didn't do anything about the bullying. What was happening to him before he turned that way?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Day after day after day, when you deal with trauma, when you deal with kids suffering, and you're trying to do everything that you can to help them,
Right.
everything that you can, and then it be stuff that be beyond me.
Your control,
I can't do anything. So when
Right.
kids would report I'm being bullied, they would come to me crying. That's a sensitive topic for me. Bullying is a very
Definitely.
sensitive topic for me.
Yeah. That's
And so when a
definitely
child
something.
comes to me and say, Miss G, I'm being bullied, and then I report it, and then nothing happens, and that child is looking at you
Like, what did you do?
like, why you didn't do
Yeah.
anything, that is something that will crush you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
it's above you. You did everything that you can do, and then when you go ask questions, it's like you're a threat. Like, why are you asking questions? This ain't your pay grade. Like, I just
wow.
don't understand
Okay.
why school is like this. And at that point, I just felt like, I was in this position to help children. I'm not in the
Right.
position, like, I didn't go into teaching because I needed money to teach.
Right.
I had my own thing before I got
Right.
into teaching.
Definitely.
So I'm not going to subject myself to that trauma. I can help kids in a different way.
Yeah.
And my advocacy work just like this. I seen the corruption at my school, and my
Wow.
intent was to fix the corruption at my school,
Right.
and making sure that my kids at Jennings Middle School never experience what they experienced the year prior.
Okay. And this is how Teaching
Ooh,
for the Culture,
that's a
TFTC, was formed.
Correct.
And so when we come back from break, we're really going to get into it.
Yeah, definitely.
But at the same time, it's very heartbreaking because
it is.
I was bullied, and my bullying is from a different story perspective. Were you ever bullied, Tasha?
Yes, definitely in
and
middle school, and that's what made me how I am now because of the bullying. In
Well,
middle
children
school.
are even being bullied at home.
Yes. And things aren't happening at home to assist that because we just had a guest. I'll say it was maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago. Her name is Natasha Pierce. She is a mental health advocate and also counselor and does a lot of things. And she was talking about the trauma because that is trauma. They are experiencing
trauma.
it day to day, night to night. They can't get any peace when they go home,
Right.
Because that was always a safe haven. At least I'm done, like you said. I
Right.
go home,
I can go
but
home
now
and be
you're dealing
safe.
with that at home. You have parents who may be overworked who just like, I can't deal with it, whatever. Or parents may call, but then they call, then nothing happens because, and we're going to get into that some more because you had a parent on your show a couple weeks ago, a friend of mine who was talking about her son being bullied, and she tried to email the school district, communicated, and was
And
literally
nothing.
to the point that they blocked her.
Yep.
And she is
Wow.
not allowed on school premises.
Yep.
She literally is fighting with this now, and it's
Still.
it's to this day. So we're going to talk about all that.
Okay,
But
I'm. Oh wow.
whew, let me
Yeah,
tell you,
this is deep.
I'm so happy you're here.
Deep.
But it's really deep,
deep, but
because
it's warranted.
there's
It's
certain
definitely
things I'm very
warranted. It's
passionate
deep.
about
Yeah.
because children. There's certain things I
Yeah,
don't
children
play with. I
definitely.
don't because I
Absolutely.
was that kid. I'm sure, and you talking about that, and that's why, like, I do go as hard as we do
Right.
now because I want them to see how beautiful they are, how glorious they are,
Right.
what they mean to the future. I'm going to go back to
Definitely.
Whitney. I believe children are the future. And we're going to talk about, coming to America where he did the little dance and everything. Hey, sexual chocolate. You know what I'm saying? But I want us to really talk about this because we were children at one point.
Absolutely.
And we remember what it
absolutely.
was, how tough it was.
Yeah, it
and
was
now
tough.
we didn't have the internet
And I was
back
the only
then.
girl, so it was real tough for me.
I was the oldest. And so that's probably why my brothers are real tough now because they had this tough sister. Like,
Yeah.
look. And I was definitely going to come up there and roll up there if something happened to my little brothers and my
right.
sister.
I remember we talked about that.
Look, to this day, I said it before before we got online, like, yo, certain things cannot happen.
Right.
But we're going to take a break. If you want to call in, 813-444-9588. This is In Touch News, Goddess Talk. We'll be right back.
Ooh, wow. So you learn a lot about the education system.
Hey Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers on the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
My name is Gil Sampson. I didn't come from a very rich family, and so paying for college would have been very tough. I don't know if I would have been able to go to the college that I went to, and then I don't know if I would have gotten into the career that I am in. So I think Bright Futures has done a lot to shape my life. I got a job as a structural engineer, and I design residential buildings, commercial buildings all over the United States. Because of Bright Futures, I was able to go to college. You know, so many kids just don't even ever get that opportunity, and to be able to do it and not have any debt when I graduated is amazing, and it was all thanks to Bright Futures.
Florida has created more than 1 million jobs in only 5 years, and a great education connects our students to these exciting opportunities. That's why the Florida Lottery has funded Bright Futures scholarships to help over 725,000 students attend college. Because every play is for education. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
When it comes to reality radio, everyone is a star.
I know that's right.
On your smooth soul and R&B station.
On the World Wide Web.
Access granted.
In Touch Radio.
Welcome back to Goddess Talk on In Touch News. This is Balaji.
And this is Tasha.
And our wonderful guest tonight is Miss Bianca Goolsby. What's up, Bianca?
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing?
I'm good. Like, you dropping some facts.
I know.
I'm feeling triggered right here. I'm feeling
gonna
triggered.
Leave here and shed a few tears. This
I feel like
got
going up
deep
to some
in
town
here.
hall
It
meeting.
definitely have, and I can see the passion, Bianca. Just you. Speaking on this topic and the concern that you have for these children. And like we talked before we came back, I just wanted to ask you, where do you see yourself taking this with the children? Because I know it's passionate for you, and I can see you doing big things for children. Do you have something that you're going to lay out, like a game plan for these kids? I know you're doing a lot. I see you doing a lot. And so if you want to talk about some things that you got going on, or some things that you're going to try to open up doors to make, you know, things pan out a little bit better for the children, you want to talk about it?
Absolutely. So
Okay.
I created an organization. It's called Teaching for the Culture. And there's a like page and there's a Facebook group. So the like page is more about, you know, promoting and uplifting. This is more so for, you know, mental health, just talking about some issues that really impact education.
Okay.
The Facebook group is more about solutions. Like, how can we come up with solutions? Is more collaborative, where I'm inviting the community to come out and actually really talk about some things, but also come up with solutions. Because at some point, we are tired of having the same town hall meetings that talk about the same thing with the same statistics over and over again with no tangible results. So what I'm creating is something where it's going to be a resource hub. Not only will I just do advocacy work, like, for example, I have, you know, went out and got school supplies for like Jennings Middle School, for example. The same school that, you know, I left, I ended up with the community's help, and I thank the community for this. We actually raised $400, and then we actually donated notebooks for the school.
Okay,
we
that was good.
delivered a whole van full of thousands of notebooks because the principal had requested notebooks, right? So like advocacy work like that, making sure that schools have what they need. The next component of that is simply just educating parents on how to advocate for their child. When you have a child,
That's
you know,
something
you
that's
don't
definitely
know
needed.
what, you know, the policies are, or
And that's
how
a
to
big
read,
issue.
you know, and so the parents don't understand like what type of rules and formats that the school board has, and how you have to follow all these procedures in order to get stuff done. I want to cut the middleman. I just want to be able to be that resource to be like, all right, so you know, you don't want to have your child to take the FSA, I got you. This is how the resources, so you do not have to have your child to take the FSA and then be penalized for a test that is systemically wrong in the first place.
Okay.
So stuff like that is what I'm creating.
So that's teaching for the culture, and that was formed, like you said, it's an organization especially that focus on cultural competency.
Absolutely.
So us knowing what benefits us,
correct,
us knowing where we've been disparaged against, us knowing where certain rules and regulations are against us as a people, and so you are educating parents to advocate not just for their children but for us as a people,
as a people, community.
All right. And so this is cultural competency for students, educators, parents, and community partners. Now let's go further, because the reason that I even came in contact with you was because a friend of mine is going through this situation now with her child. So I want to give that a highlight, because this one actually hit me personally, because I was like, hold up, Caleb, what? So a couple weeks ago, a friend of mine, Miss Alexander Gilmore, she was on your show. Basically, you have your own Facebook Live that you, I guess, did. But basically, something happened at her school, her son's school. He's been bullied, and she was advocating for her child by contacting administrators, contacting teachers, trying to take it up the chain of command. Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Right. Definitely.
She, followed up with emails. So she had documentation. She had a paper trail. So she had those receipts.
Okay.
And she couldn't get anywhere, to the point that then she started being bullied by the school's district.
Absolutely.
And superintendent, I believe it's the person that was really behind the bullying. But
the area superintendent.
Okay, so this specific person for her son's school was the one who became to bully her. To the point that my friend, a mother, and let's not just forget it, this is a mother, a wife, so her and her husband, okay, I want to always make sure that you guys understand, this is not somebody, some people try to say, oh, she's low income. No.
Right.
She lives in a wonderful area.
Okay.
Her husband and her are wonderful people. Okay. They are true parents. They're involved. They're all these things. So you cannot come here with that little BS story, about my friend.
They always try to throw that up.
Yeah,
the angry black woman,
or the angry black man either, because that's another thing. They really try to paint her as that, and she's like, hold up, I'm not a single mother either. Okay, I have a husband who is part of this, situation with us. Right. And to the point that they have now banned her from school premises.
Wait a minute.
And she has done nothing.
Nothing.
Never met a threat.
Wait a minute, banned?
She herself has been banned.
Let me just tell you what this is.
This is really, really, really disappointing.
Area 3 superintendent, her name is Dr. Anna Brown. She procured and created this document, and she actually mailed the letter to Alex, to her home. And it's a long letter, by the way, and anyone can get access to it because it's public record. Okay. Now, in this letter,
is that before you go, is that in Hillsborough County?
Yes, it is in Hillsborough County.
This is in Tampa. This is New Tampa area.
Okay.
By the way,
so her son goes to Liberty Middle School. And it is, a very nice school. Okay. They have a lot of resources there, and she lives in a very nice community.
Yes.
Okay. So she was sending emails because Caleb, was getting bullied. They was calling him little black boy. They were, kicking him. He was kicked in the stomach. He went to the clinic several times because of injuries that he suffered at school. And she reported it every single time. She followed the procedure, went on the district website, writing bullying, this is what happened, this, that, and the third. Well, I guess the principal at Liberty Middle didn't like her. There was an issue. So basically the principal at the school kind of made it his business to kind of, be like the liaison between the teachers and then, her. And so her concern was, hey, what are my son's assignments? Because mind you, that there are some teachers out there that don't need to be in the profession of teaching. They are so tired, they are so burnt out that they don't even want to teach anymore. And these are the people that have to go, because they are the ones that also are complicit in the inequities in education.
Yeah. Okay.
So because of that, she was like, hey, I need to know what my son, assignment is. What grade is, just regular, just trying to advocate, just trying to make sure that Caleb got the best education that he can get, right? So, she received this letter that I was talking about earlier by Dr. Anna Brown. And basically, Dr. Anna Brown said that if you arrive at Liberty Middle School, I want to make this very perfectly clear, that you will be removed from campus either from the Hillsborough County Resource Officer on site or the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office.
So that's a threat. I just want y'all to know that, okay? That's a threat.
Excuse me.
That's a
so
threat.
this parent never threatened, did any harm, nothing.
Nope.
Forget
to
that part,
this
though.
Dr. Anna Brown.
But forget that part. This is because everybody always wants to say, "Oh, the parents aren't involved. The parents aren't this." This is a very
Right, this
involved.
is an
She's done the
involved
orchestra.
parent.
Alex posts her kids all the time.
Yep.
She is an involved parent.
Yep.
Caleb was in the orchestra or some field trip, or Bryce is, her other son. Like she is a very involved, and for her to be going through this is astounding to me.
That's
Astounding.
deep. I've
it's sad.
never.
So what's the process?
that's
Where's she
sad.
at right now?
Where's
Because I know
at
she has
with
you
this?
with her
Yeah,
advocating.
so right now, I'm trying to schedule a meeting with Dr. Anna Brown.
Okay.
I'm trying to get to the root of what was happening. How can I help? How can I bridge this gap?
Right.
Do you feel threatened by, Alex? If so, talk to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk to me and let's talk about this, because I'm just trying to figure out why. I've did the public records request. I'm still waiting on that.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out why this happened. And so, to be honest,
beyond
the
ridiculous.
district is so messed up that this is just a small, minute problem for them right now.
So you feel like this is going to get brushed under the covers?
So I really think that, even as much as the pushing and all of that it's just going to be
It's
one of
just
those
gonna be
things that just, but I'm going to keep going. Like, I'm going to keep talking about Caleb. I'm going to keep talking about Alex and Story,
Right.
because this is not the only parent. I was told just at the board meeting on Tuesday that I was at when I spoke at the board meeting,
Okay.
that there were advocates that were actually receiving letters of a civility ban that was being delivered to their home by sheriffs.
civility
What?
ban.
Civility ban? Yes. And
So drop. Explain what a civility
Yes,
ban
please,
is.
because
and
that
why
sounds
the
kind of like
This is
like a
treacherous.
warrant or
This is
something.
treacherous.
Please explain that, Bianca.
So based on what was communicated to me, is a civility ban is basically blocking someone because you feel like they would be a threat to the civility or to the organization such as Hillsborough County Public Schools.
Okay, so now, but these people are labeled as advocates.
Yes.
This is not a group of fighters these are advocates,
These are
for,
advocates for
education,
education.
reform, or whatever, and they are receiving bans saying that they are basically a threat to the county.
Advocates are considered a threat at the district. So every time I go to the school board, there's one school board member that just looks at me at disgust. And I just can't wait until this court. I'll just hush on that.
So Bianca, have you received when you go to the school board meetings or anything out of the school board members, or have you been receiving positive feedback from any of them? Anybody?
I'm gonna give you my honest answer.
Okay.
My honest answer is that I've been to the school board meeting several times. I've spoke at the school board meeting several times. And each of time that I spoke, I've talked about different issues. I have yet to have a conversation with one school board member on the side to actually talk about the issue. And the only person that tried to somewhat talk to me and kind of did it in a way that I don't really appreciate was Tammy.
Okay.
And that is the board, because, she pulled me aside at one of the panels and was like, hey, we really need to talk about this. I want to have a strategy, this, that, and the third.
Okay.
But the way that she posted on Facebook seems a different tune. And I'm not about all that Facebook rip rap and all that. I'm not all about that.
One way and then
I just can't
do something else on social media.
I'm just not with that. At the end of the day, I'm fighting for kids. I'm fighting for equity and education. And if you are not on the same path, same wavelength, same energy that I'm on, then I don't need to meet with you. I don't. And so, in my opinion, I feel like, and I'll just talk about it honestly and be frank about it, because it's just no point at this point. But I feel like there are certain black people that are in position that are complicit to what is going on.
I'm so glad you're saying
that
this.
question, because I want to know what the demographic of the school board looks like.
Oh my gosh, there's only one black person on the school board.
Well, that's in Pinellas County. We only have one black school board person that's on our school board, and it's been like that. St. Petersburg, Florida has never had a black mayor. Never. We've never had a black mayor, and we only have one school board person, and I believe her name is Renee Flowers, that is on our school board.
But to take it back to what you said, a lot of these people who are making or getting into those positions are complicit
Right.
with the rest of their board members
Right.
in subjugating us to the negativity of education.
Yeah. So, like, in my example, I
I'm going to
believe...
give you 2
Horrible.
seconds because
Okay.
we got our last break.
Okay.
All right?
Ooh,
This is
ooh.
our last break coming
Okay.
because Bianca going to be back. I'm just
Yeah.
going to let y'all know that.
You know what?
So you
This
can call
is
Goddess
definitely
Talk.
a good one.
You can call us up at 813-444-9588. This is In Touch News, Goddess Talk. We'll be right back. Bianca.
Hi, this is Dale Day. Join me every Monday at 7 p.m. for Jazz at Miss Connie's house, bringing you the smoothest jazz and the coolest guests right here on In Touch Radio.
Hi, I'm Donald L. Dowers Jr., your motivational guru. This is the DLD Motivational Moment. One darn second. America since 2017 is suffering from a serious hiccup. 9/11 is seriously overused in a distasteful manner. Every day the cops are calling on an innocent person of color. It amazes me that America has come down to this. A person of color becomes a person of interest. Waffle House, the dorm, Starbucks is a few. This is not the lunch counters, sit-ins of the 1960s. 2019, harassed simply for being black and proud. Hold on one darn second. This has been the DLD Motivational Moment. Pre-order my new book, Motivational Moments, at DLD282002 at yahoo.com or 813-394-5875.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
This is Goddess Talk. This is Balaji.
Hey, y'all.
And Bianca. What's up, Bianca?
What's up?
Yo.
Woo.
Bianca got me heated.
Yes.
I feel triggered. I'm remembering my childhood, and then I'm feeling all types of ways about, again, my friend Alex Gilmore, her son Bryce, and she has another son. I'm sorry, Caleb, and then she has the younger one, Bryce.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going through this thing with the school district. She's going through it with the school district. Her and her family are going through this. But Bianca, what I really want to stress, and I'm so excited that you're here, because a lot of people talk a big game, especially on social media. They try to get followers.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm at this, I'm at that. But that's why I said, like, I saw that you had a passion,
Right?
Because I don't bang with everybody. I don't. But I was like, all right, I see.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me hit you up, see if you could come up here real quick.
Yeah, I'm
really
about that life.
Oh, and I saw. And
she's
the
definitely
stuff that you're
passionate
dropping
about
right
what she's
now,
doing.
you are about action. So let me know, because the way I roll, I don't play that.
Yeah.
And I really want you to understand that, yo, I really appreciate what you're doing, especially for my friend. But then it's just like for other people, because you're
Right.
doing other stuff other than what you're doing for Alex. You're doing some other stuff for other people, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
okay.
are about action. So this, your teaching for the culture is not just words. You are action-based
actually
It's action.
organization.
All action.
So drop the
Okay.
facts that you was about to drop before, because I'm like, I'm
Woo,
sitting here
I
ready,
know,
like,
right?
what
I'm
else?
like,
What
oh,
else?
Lord.
All right, so before I do like the quick discipline data, like, so I just want to talk about, like, so we have people that are in position that are complicit, and they talk this whole game on social media, and they, you know, do all this stuff,
News
and that's
and all that.
fine. Listen, don't have no beef with nobody. There's nothing personal. At the end of the day, I'm fighting for our kids. I'm fighting for my babies. I'm fighting for everybody's child because our children are not being served a disservice. The system is broken. There's something wrong with the system, and there's people that are complicit, and there are people that are getting paid 6 figures to be complicit, and then will gaslight parents, and then will say, "Oh, well, parents ain't doing enough." Well, no, sis. Or sir.
Let's shout that sir too. Or you.
Or sir.
Or whichever way you want to go.
You cannot continue to blame parents for the same system that failed them too.
Right.
And so the system is failing everyone. So when we look at literacy rates, when we look at FSA, let's look at FSA.
What's the FSA, please?
So FSA is the Florida Standard Assessment.
And that's why I said that, because I'm from Jersey, and so, you know, we have our own testing up there. So I was like, what is FSA? I'm trying to, all these acronyms are coming at me. But FSA is the Florida Standardized Testing?
Standard Assessment.
Okay, keep going.
So I'm going to look at 2 schools. They are in East Tampa.
Okay.
The same communities that have been robbed for generation after generation after generation.
Gentrified.
James Elementary, only 9% of all the 3rd graders on that campus passed the FSA. Let me say that again to make sure everyone understands. James Elementary.
9%.
Only 9% of all the 3rd graders, those babies on campus, only 9% passed.
Those are 8-year-old, 9-year-olds, and that's 9% of 100. So we had 100 students here. Only 9 of y'all passed, and 91 failed.
Yep. And so this test is also being used to, you know, for promotion and all of that. So if you don't pass, there are certain steps that you have to meet in order to move forward to the 4th grade. So systemically, we look at some of these schools that have these low grades and have the low test data. We find out that they don't have any teachers, that they've been using Kelly Services and they've been using all these different resources to bring teachers into the school, which they're not actually teaching kids because that's not their job. Their job is to babysit basically.
Right.
So you basically have people babysitting children and then holding them to the same expectation of everyone else of them learning. And that is counterproductive, and that doesn't work.
Please stop there real quick. I want you to stop there because I was always one of those people. I'm not a big math person, so let's just make sure. I'm just going to give you the simple math that I know. I'm spitting this back at you. Again, like I said, it's 100 students. 9 of them passed, and 91 failed. Now, I was also one of those people like, well, that means that they must, you know, they must not be smart children or this and this and that. Or what about the teachers? What about the teachers? But you just said something. They don't even have teachers qualified to teach these subjects that they are being tested on.
So the problem with the district is that the district wants to blame everybody but themselves. But hold on though. This is the part that I need everyone to listen. The school that I'm listing, James Elementary, I did it strategically because the district actually was sent to the school to help with the vacancies. Now, district leaders who are responsible for all the other teachers, this is how they perform. You cannot blame the teachers. You cannot blame who takes responsibility for this? Who?
You're right.
They're gonna try to blame the parents, but hold up. I'm telling my child to school to learn,
right?
And you don't have a personnel in there who can teach them
who can actually
those things.
Qualified enough.
It's a lose-lose situation.
So Kelly Services.
I have. Okay, so this what is that? That's an organization that sends substitute teachers, right? Okay, we had Source for Teachers back up north or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep going with the facts because that's one.
Yeah. That's one.
Okay.
So that's one. Then we got another school. It's Foster Elementary. Only 13% of those 3rd grade babies passed the reading FSA. So we're talking about literacy, folks, in the state of Florida. 70% of all the 3rd graders that tested in the state of Florida is not proficient in reading. Let me say that again. 70% of all the 3rd grade babies that tested last school year was not proficient in reading. We have a literacy crisis.
Yeah.
In our community, this is why mumble rap is so popular because we're illiterate.
Yeah.
We're becoming illiterate.
Oh, you just dropped
the
it.
jewels.
Because I can't do it. And I have English is okay, so my family's Nigerian and English is the British colonized Nigeria. So English is my first language and I have other dialects that I'm very privy to. So when I'm hearing music, I'm like, what did they say?
Right. It's
Or
like, what?
enunciate.
And the kids know it.
What?
Yeah, and the
everybody's
kids
like,
know
but
it.
me, that's
Yeah,
just us.
they
That's
do.
just no. There is a dumbing down of our children.
Absolutely.
And then glorifying that, because guess what? Their children are going to excel and have opportunities.
Right.
Our children will not.
Yep.
Absolutely not. You cannot get into the workforce like that. You don't even know how to write a simple sentence.
Nope.
Let alone communicate effectively what your needs and wants are. Keep going, Bianca. I'm tired.
All right, so
1 hour.
remember
definitely.
how
We need
I don't know if we were online or offline when
We
you were
need
talking
longer.
about the ACLU,
that?
which is the Prison to Pipeline
The
study.
yeah.
So they did one not just in Pinellas County, but they also did one in Hillsborough.
Okay.
So the black community only represents 21% of Hillsborough County public schools. Out of this data,
Out of the 21%.
Hillsborough County Public Schools leads with the highest number of students being cited by the police in the state. Hillsborough County Public Schools is the highest number of students arrested in the state. Hillsborough County Public Schools is one of only 9 using mechanical restraints for discipline. Now, this is the ACLU report. You can look it up. Listen, don't come at me with this. I'm just reporting the news. This is, go to ACLU Hillsborough, you'll find the report. It's right there. They sent this report to the superintendent and the board members on June 25th, 2019.
So the reason that last part hit me, my company in Jersey, we work with people with developmental disabilities, and some of them have behavioral issues that require just restraints. And I was a trainer of crisis management, which is what we called it. We were calling them just, crisis management. So, we could take you down.
Right.
If
I
we need
remember
to.
you talking about
and
that.
whenever you have to apply a mechanical, that goes through different levels of authorization.
Right.
To the point that this is a state approved restraint. So the state of Florida, I want to say that explicitly, the state of Florida is complicit in our children being mechanically restrained and being sent, or being cited, and even being sent to prison. So then I want to talk about the prison system here in Florida now.
Well, the prison to pipeline is very clear.
It's very
clear.
And the state isn't complicit.
It's definitely very clear.
It's very complicit. Wow.
Let's just look at the discipline data real quick.
Okay.
So remember, 21%. I'm gonna go through this quick because I know our time going short.
We are gonna have to drop because it's about to be 57 and we get off at 57. So Bianca, thank you so much for coming.
I love you.
Bianca, I love you.
Please, Bianca, I gotta tell y'all this tea. It's crazy.
But not just that. We're gonna continue our conversation online on Facebook, and we will have a part 2. And if we have any guests who cancel on us, if we can bring you in to talk a little bit, we'll bring you on.
Okay.
We appreciate you so much.
Wow.
This is Goddess Talk. We're on In Touch News every Thursday at 7 p.m. This is why I wanted to have this show. This is why I was like, I had to have a show that is all about this. Thank you so much, Bianca.
Thank you for having me.
You have been great.
Thank you, Bianca.
Thursday at 7 p.m. every week except for holidays. We will be back on In Touch News, black owned radio station in Tampa, Florida. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
Have a good evening.